80 perp. An honor, a pleasure to be on a call here virtually. Are you in
For sure.
Edmonton right now?
Yeah, chilling in Edmonton. I'm at the
Okay,
crib right
cool.
now, so yeah.
Shit. What's
Did
uh
it,
what's the city like?
bro. That's what this, like. Let me not hate. Let me not hate on. Let me not hate on my city. Like Edmonton's fire. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's just at that place where it's just kind of like nothing really goes on. Like when it's super cold, and then when it
Mhm.
gets warmer, it kind of gets lit. So
Okay.
it's good for like working because like you everybody just keeps their head down and like grinds during the wintertime, and then when it
Yeah.
gets warmer, people kind of lock in. But there's a little snow on the ground. It's chilling.
Yeah.
This the city's always. I love Edmonton. I never change on that. But it's
Yeah.
definitely not a super eventful place, I'd say.
I feel it, dude. I feel it. I mean, when we linked in person that one time, I mean, for those who don't know, like I got my whole dad's side of the family's from Edmonton, so it's like
100%.
super small world vibes. I mean, just all the artists up there, producers, creatives, like
Yeah,
it's super cool. I met a bunch of people in LA and they're just from Edmonton, where my dad's side's from. But going to the city, yeah, you can kind of tell like it's a cool spot, but I feel like everyone that I talk to from like those colder climates just always, you know, bring up the fact that being from that cooler climate just forces you to lock in really. And being
literally.
born
Yeah.
and raised in LA here, like, bro, it's hard when it's like 70 degrees and sunny outside every
There's so
day. You
much
live
to
by the
do,
beach.
right?
There's
Like
so
so
much to
much.
do. It's like,
Yeah.
you realize you're not locking in, whereas like, the cats up north, like you can kind of lock in, do what you need to do. You're almost forcing your hand, and I'm sure
Yeah.
creatively it like bleeds into Sonic worlds you guys are building up there. But no, that's a
100%.
great point.
100%. Like it's definitely like that. Like there's a lot of camaraderie in the city because of that. We all get it. Everybody kind of understands it. So
Yeah.
it's dope. Yeah.
No, I feel it, man. I love it. I mean, dude, I just want to like, we've known each other for a bit, but I want to
Yeah.
kind of understand like the origin of, when you started making music. I feel like the name 80 Perp stands out to me like so
Yeah.
much. I never got the chance to ask you like what's the origin behind that name? Like I'm sure it's
Yeah.
either the biggest thing or just the smallest little thing. Like I'm super.
Yeah. No, it's super dope. Like I tell people whenever they ask me, but no one really
Yeah.
asks me.
Yeah.
I found like so I came up with the name when I was like 16.
Okay.
So up to this point, prior to this, I've been making awful music under another name.
Yeah.
And niggas cannot find this because I scrubbed, like I got rid of it completely because it was just so bad. Like the
Yeah.
music
Yeah.
was bad, the name was corny. I was like, bro, this is it. And like I actually stopped that music because I told myself like because at this point I was just copying. Like I was trying to copy Cardi. I was trying to be like these other guys.
Okay. Okay.
And I was like, bro, I'm wiping this and I'm not gonna come back to music until I know like what I'm gonna do, like what I'm gonna say.
Gotcha.
So like I had this crazy like teen life crisis and I was like, bro, I need to figure this shit out, figure out who I am, blah blah blah. And then I kind of found it. I settled on it. So like so the name 80 Burp is actually an anagram. It's actually like a puzzle. So it's like it shows up as one
Yeah.
thing and it means something else. So it's like the number 80 actually
Yeah.
it's a symbol for the letters AD. So 80 AD.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And then like perp, so there's two extra P's on perp. So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
AD. So AD stands for a dark, and
Okay.
then there's two extra P's on perp for Peter Pan. So it's like
Oh,
a dark
shit.
purple Peter Pan. Like that's what my name is. And I wanted that to be my name, but I was like, bro, how do I make this like shorter? So I was like, let me like
Dang.
turn it into a puzzle. So yeah, it's 80 perp. It's also cool because it's like when people hear like perp or whatever, they
Yeah.
definitely are not expecting like what they're gonna get from my music, which I also really fuck with.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
'Cause it's like, oh yeah, if you judge by the name, you miss out on the music. So
Dude, that's fire, man. I
yeah,
that's so crazy. I love that you sort of shortened it too, because that whole thing is definitely a mouthful, and I'm
right.
sure,
Yeah.
just 80 perp, it just flows, it sounds good, it's
You
clean.
know? Yeah, you get
Dude, I
it.
love that. I had no idea there's an origin story. I feel like sometimes I'll ask people, they're like, "Oh, it was like my gamer tag back in the day," like,
Yeah,
just like some random name generator online. But I
yeah,
love
yeah,
the
yeah.
like meaning behind that.
I tried that shit. Like I saw like how Childish Gambino came up with his name, and I
Yeah,
tried that,
yeah.
and nothing felt like it was for me. So
Hey, I mean, shit,
yeah,
it worked. Well, however you got to 80 perp, man, it worked. It makes so
you
much
know,
sense. Like I can
thanks.
that. So you
Yeah,
said you that name was like when you were 16-ish or like
yeah,
late
yeah.
teens?
Yeah, about 16.
Okay, and was that by the time you started putting out music under that alias, like those late teens, like you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Like I think
Okay.
the first 80 perp track was when I was 16. And
Okay.
I was uploading on SoundCloud way before like I was uploading on Spotify and shit.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, like the dates on SoundCloud will be older than on Spotify
Gotcha.
quite a
Okay.
bit. Yeah.
Dang. I mean, shit, those SoundCloud days, man, it makes sense. So how much,
I'm saying.
what was like what was your process? What was your vision back in the day? Like, were you on some like, let me release as much music as possible on SoundCloud, do like the single a week kind of strategy? Like, let me cook, let me perfect the craft.
Yeah.
Like, what was your
No,
head
it was just
early on in the career?
yeah, it was just like I just wanted to like make fire shit and like share it and like make good stuff and then
Yeah.
share that good stuff. Like that's always what the mantra was, to just like
Okay.
make the best shit that I could possibly make, like, and just try like harder and like dig
Yeah.
deeper, if like I guess like for wherever I was at. And obviously
Yeah.
like that changes, like the more you grow, like what that looks like changes for you. But
Sure.
that's kind of always what it was. I was like, hey, what are my resources? Like, what do I have access to? And
Hmm.
then like, how can I make the best, possible thing with the resources I have? Also, just like being honest, because like
Yeah.
niggas was really depressed in high school, bro. Like every nigga in high school is depressed, but like I was
Facts,
really like,
bro.
no, like I found like a lot of solace in like hearing
Yeah.
this music and these sounds that like weren't just like gaslighting me into like being happy. Like I didn't want to fucking
Mm.
be happy because I wasn't happy. I wanted to feel like I was normal because I
Yeah.
didn't feel great. And like that feeling actually inspired me to make music. So then that's like kind of where I started at. And then
Mm.
that led to a bunch of other stuff. But I really wanted to just like craft this persona where like all the sad boys could link up, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I love that, man. I feel like that sort of for lack of a better term sad boy stuff and
Yeah.
SoundCloud are almost synonymous. Like I'm thinking back on when I was like heavy in my just SoundCloud consumption days. Yeah, it was sort of that stuff where um it just felt like that more personal intimate connection with these artists, and like you were just ready for the next drop here and there, and it just felt like thinking about what music feels like nowadays. Like obviously DSPs are huge, and there's like
Yeah.
distro companies and labels behind stuff. I feel like unfortunately it's lost. Like it just SoundCloud felt like so much just closer and like
Yeah.
one to one. Like dude, you could fucking comment on a song. Like that was
Yeah.
so crazy thinking about it
Yeah.
back in the day, and like just seeing
Yeah.
those timestamps of people just putting fire emojis and shit like that. Like
Hmm.
I love that, the discoverability as well. Like it was
Yeah.
it was really a special time. But so you were saying you were inspired sort of by those feelings. Were there any, I mean, you mentioned like Cardi and stuff. Like, were there any artists
Yeah.
you were inspired by at the time? Like, what
Oh
really got
yeah,
you
bro. Like
into your
like
bag?
X, huge X influence,
Okay.
obviously, like
Okay.
Juice, all those guys, like Mac too, like yeah,
Yeah.
Mac actually became like more of an influence like further down the line,
Okay.
Kendrick further down the line too, but still a little bit like back then, but
Yeah.
definitely like a lot of X, a lot of that, like like sampled shit. Trippy, huge back in the day,
Okay.
like
Yep.
bro. I could make an argument that I'm the biggest Trippy Red fan alive. Like I really no, like I really felt like
Hey,
that
I
at one
like
point,
it.
bro. Like I was like, dude, like you're not a bigger fan than I am. Like that's
Oh,
that's
that's
the that
fire.
was the attitude. But yeah, definitely like a lot of those guys, a lot of that scene. LA, Florida, Broward County, Ski Mask too.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
And, I guess obviously there wasn't being up north, like, all those inspirations were sort of
Yeah, you
outside
gotta look
and
elsewhere.
outside
It's
your
nothing
region.
around you. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's sort of what made like the whole SoundCloud era so special is that, or at least just like the online music scene is like, dude, you didn't need to, it just made the world small. Like it didn't matter where people were from. You could catch these
Yeah.
sound, just the waves where the sound was at the time. And the fact that,
Exactly.
up in Edmonton could just like make this fire music off the inspo from people on the West Coast, East Coast, and
Yeah.
States. Like I think that's so fire.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think the cat's definitely out the bag now. Like I think people realize that like
Yeah.
stuff doesn't have to be centralized like to a place. There's definitely like a little bit of that. Like obviously you got like crazy artists coming out of Atlanta and stuff. And
Yeah.
hell, even in Edmonton, like there's a lot of inspired people that are like they're inspired and because they're inspired, like they're creating stuff.
Mhm.
So like, there's a lot of creating going on in Edmonton.
Yeah, I wanted to ask like just the scene there. Like obviously, I'm born and raised in LA, so it's like its
Yeah.
own monster, but I feel like, a lot of people come to LA obviously for the music, and
Hmm.
I can attest to just how important it is So
Hmm.
be in and around it, around the studios, shaking hands. If I pull up to an office or a studio here, like you're brushing shoulders, shaking hands with people, yada
Hmm.
yada. You can have meetings, all that stuff. But I think what's sort of lost in the LA scene is I guess you can't even really call it a scene because it's so big. Whereas I feel like all these other regions and smaller cities, there is more of like a scene and a community in the creative side of things. And I'm
Yeah.
talking from a lot of artists, even from some artists from Edmonton, like they can sort of see and appreciate like that scene, for lack of a better term, in their region
Hmm.
because it's just like not this big hub, and now people sort of rely on each other. So. Yeah, like what is the
Exactly.
Edmonton scene to you, and like how would you describe it to sort of an outside fan of music and viewer?
Yeah, I mean, like it's definitely like lots of pockets going on. It's like different schools
Okay.
of thought. Like that's what
Yeah.
I'm noticing. Like I watch a shit ton of anime, so it's like it's
Yeah.
like a bunch of different like martial arts schools like that believe in a different mantra that are making their own shit like in that own way. And like there's respect there. I believe like I want to believe that like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like it's competitive. Everybody's competing. Everybody wants to like make the best
Sure.
shit and be the most successful. And like obviously everybody wants like different things, but I do believe like there is like it's just like lots of different pockets. Like if you in Edmonton, it's like if you want to find a pocket, you'll find a pocket, and then
Okay.
if you want to create your own pocket, like I think it's actually an easier place to like create your own pocket like than other
Mm.
places. I find like if two niggas just wanted to just lock in and make something different
Yeah.
like you could do that very easily in Edmonton. I feel, you
Got
know,
you.
because it
Got you.
just doesn't feel like super overcomplicated. And I feel like when it gets there, that's when like, shit starts to fall away. Like when it gets
Yeah.
too complicated and too many stuff gets involved like that,
Yeah.
that's anything, right? So
Interesting. No,
yeah.
that's a good point. I guess, you bring up competition. I sort of love that. Like, especially in
Yeah.
like hip hop, like competition is obviously a huge thing. And I think,
Mhm.
what is it? Iron sharpens iron or whatever
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it is.
exactly.
Like, I'm sure that is, but is there also like, the other side of the coin, like collaboration as well? Like, do you guys lean on each other,
Yeah.
whether it's artist to artist, producer to producer? Like, is it
Yeah.
pretty tight knit?
Yeah, I feel like we try, like we definitely try to do that. If it doesn't feel like it's super difficult to do that, I think the like one of the main things that stops that is just like style and like who you
Mhm.
are. Like
Yeah,
you might not mesh with everybody, but again, like that's with everything. Like
for
I
sure.
definitely feel like if you seek it out and do your best, like you can find it. Like I think Edmonton, music wise, like Edmonton's the best when you're not looking up at anybody else, and when you kind of just see that everybody's like on the same level. Like
Yeah,
I think that's what inspires like real dope collaboration, and like I've created like many like super close friends just off of that.
yeah.
I've never felt like too isolated, like too much, like nothing past normal than what you would
Mm.
expect for like just being at this place.
For sure.
Uh, but yeah, that's
No,
what
I,
I'd say.
I I feel it. I guess on that note, like I would love to know more about your creative process. Like,
Yeah.
are you one of these people that just like trying to lock yourself in the room, like not even in the studio, just
Hmm.
because just listening to your music, obviously like very introspective. You're talking about like sort of that sad boy early on era.
Yeah.
I still hear that and love that about your
Yeah.
music right now. And yeah, like what is your creative process? Like where are you most comfortable? Where do you find inspiration? Like, or does it change every time, like just based on the mood, on the vibe?
Yeah. I mean, like it's a little bit of both. Like, I guess like I feel
Yeah.
like the mantra stays the same, but then it's like what that means changes. Like trying to make music that's relevant to where I'm at, because like at the end of the day, I feel like as an artist, like the thing that drives me, the thing that I almost like have to believe in to like keep myself grounded is that like what I'm experiencing and like what I'm feeling like matters. Like,
For sure,
and
yeah.
you can only make a certain type of music when you truly believe that. When you start to
Gotcha.
feel like your own perspective, your own like when you start to feel like you yourself, like who you are, like your true individuality at core isn't
Hmm.
as important as XYZ,
Yep.
then you can hear it in your music. I can see it in the way you dress. Like I can see it in I can see it. I can hear it. And I think that's what's happening a lot
Mhm.
in the industry now. Is like you see somebody and I see somebody else. It's like, bro, when I look at you, I see someone else. Like that's
Yeah.
not you. And I feel like a lot of people are feeling that. And I feel like, yeah, I think it's a scary thing because it's like you have to be willing to not be like embraced right away. You
Mm,
know, like when
hmm.
you see something's popping, if you want to just be embraced immediately, the easiest thing to do is to just do what's popping. But
Exactly.
like, even though like I definitely, again, I'm not even gonna like act like I'm immune to that. Like I definitely like that inspired me and like back in my start, and I was able to then branch off into like almost like my own kind of school of individuality, like from the
Hmm.
confidence that that gave me.
Interesting.
Um, but yeah, I just think the source of the stuff I have to create is like where I'm at matters, like where I really am. And to
Yeah.
get there, it takes different things. Like sometimes it takes me to just literally step away and like have nothing to do with music
Yeah.
and just like watch shows and just sit in silence and like be with myself, like be present in other things. And then
Yep.
other times it requires the opposite. I gotta lock in, I gotta think about the music. I gotta like, I feel like with my brain it's like all or nothing. It's like 0 or 100.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like even with this album, like one of the challenges I found with this album is like how do I like again like level up? Like how can I level up where I'm at? How can I be honest with where I'm at while also making it like appealing to for other people to like listen to? Like how can I create a world? Like I feel like that's another thing that sorry, I'm just kind of going. I
No,
feel like
dude, I love it.
yeah, I feel like one of the other things that like really inspires me is like creating a world, creating a scene
Hmm.
like all the like one of the things I went around to the homies when before I made this last album, like I was like, okay, like I want to do things differently this time. So let me go get some knowledge. So I asked each one of them, I was like, okay, what do you guys think makes an incredible album? And I
Interesting.
was and I was getting different answers from different people, but that's exactly what I wanted because I wanted
Yeah.
to take everybody's answer
Yeah.
and then bring it into myself and then come up with my own answer. And
Interesting.
like one of the answers that I got that really stuck with me more than others was like a strong polarizing setting. Like the
Mm.
best albums fucking take you somewhere. Like
Yeah.
what the best albums when you put your headphones on and you listen to that shit, you're no longer where you are when you put your headphones on.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that was huge for this project. And I feel like that's something I touched on even in the prior music. And I wasn't even necessarily like consciously trying to do it. I was just trying to make something where I was at. That's like Violet High. Like that was, I was genuinely in high school and I genuinely was living in my own world in high school. Like that's what that Violet High was. Like that's a dark
Yeah.
purple Peter Pan. It's like high school was the Violet High. And then like now I'm at this point, it's like, okay, how do I feel? Then it's like I take how I feel, I take everything I'm feeling, I take all my experiences, all my inspirations, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, like where am I? And like just closing my eyes, like literally close my eyes, and it's like, okay, where am I? What does this feel like? Like what is the personification of you, if you will, of just like everything that I'm going through and experiencing? And then I started to see this hotel. I started
Shit.
to see a hotel, I started to see halls, I started to see an elevator, like damn near like visions of like The Shining. Like I started seeing that, like,
Dang.
and I was like, yo, this is something. And I had a couple ideas before, but none of them really stuck. This felt like this is where I'm at. I can work with this, like,
Hmm.
cause and then and it's crazy. Like as I kept going down this rabbit hole of like these places and what they mean to me and the significance of these places, started
Yeah.
doing research and like there's all this philosophy about like heterotopias and like places that are places in between places. So like airports,
Mm.
hotels, like these are places that are in between other places. So you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
like you have your home and you have your final
Interesting.
destination if you're going on vacation, but that in between place, the airport, and I feel like subconsciously I was like personifying this transitionary period that I feel like I'm in, you know? Like
Mm.
I'm definitely not where I was, but I am also definitely not where I'm going. Like I'm not there yet. So I
Gotcha.
was like, how do I personify this and create this space that like people can come into?
Yeah.
And my actual first idea that kind of fell through was an airport. And then from
Huh.
there, like it went to a hotel. So it's like it's interesting. Like
Gotcha.
the source stayed the same, even though like that's
Dang.
yeah.
So you just trusted like your creative vision, like you said, almost outsourced it and like got people's point of views and really
Yeah.
internalized that and went as
Yeah.
deep as possible of like, okay, what am I feeling in this moment? What kind of almost like instead of creating the music first and then trying to like put a world around it, you'd like visualize what sort of world and universe you were sort of
Yeah.
feeling at the moment and then expressed through the music after that. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
dude, that's actually crazy. And I love that. I've never thought of it from the point of, hotels, airports, how they're just like such it's never the final. You're right. It's never the final destination. Like subconsciously, we're there, but we're not really there.
Yeah.
It's almost like you can just snap out of it, and like once you're on vacation or once you're back home, you don't even think about like really,
Hmm.
was I really like present in these hotel
Hmm.
rooms or in this airport? And dude, I feel like that makes sense. Like, because in your lyrics, it all kind of comes to me of like you really are like touching on these themes of like a lot of it is you sort of being present in these spaces and like observing this lady here or this girl here, or like trying to like
Hmm.
internalize things. I actually wrote down a few words that came to mind when I was listening to the project. And like
So
tell me if I'm on or off, but like
no, go for it.
reflection was a word,
Yeah.
suppression was a word,
Hmm.
vice,
Yep.
human, dissociation, and growth.
Honestly.
Like those were all
Yeah.
the words that sort of came to mind. I don't know if like any of those really stand out to you, but you know, I
Yeah,
was
bro.
sort of doing like a
Like,
little brainstorm word salad there.
no, I love that shit. Like definitely definitely like growth for sure. You'll
Hmm.
see that more in the side B. I'm really excited for you to hear the side B. I'm gonna
Yeah.
send it to you early so
Okay.
you can take a listen to it. But the growth becomes more of a thing there, I think, and just like self-realization, disassociation for sure.
Yeah.
Hotel lobby, like that's a big song where it's like disassociation. Like I'm in
Mm.
the hotel lobby and it's like I'm fucked up in this lobby and like it's extravagant, but like something doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, it's like also just like your outside world, like inaccurately reflecting your inside world. It's like
Mhm.
everyone can relate to that. Like everybody's been in a place where you should feel good. Like this is a place where you feel good. This is a place
Yeah.
where you're supposed to be lit, and it's like you're there
Yeah.
and you don't feel like that, and it's like what the fuck, like. Then I feel like that's mad comforting. Like even like my the albums I look up to and listen to, like it is just so comforting because it's coming from these people who I expect to be doing so well. Like
Yep.
I expect you to be doing so well. I expect you to be so happy and so fulfilled. Like
Yeah.
how could you not be fulfilled? And it's just like they're not, and they're honest. Like that's the Mac, that's the Kendrick,
Mm.
hell Drake, even like these guys. It's like, yeah, I got this, yeah, I got that. Yeah, it looks nice out here, but like there's still
Yep.
something off. There's still something on my heart that's bothering me.
Exactly.
You know, questions, lack of closure. That's a huge one. I wanted to make an album that like touched on some important themes, but also didn't pretend to have this like ultimate message. Like, I'm not gonna pretend to have the answer. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna tell you this is the answer, this is the key. I'm just gonna like tell you where I'm at, and then you get that, and then
For sure.
you do the work with that, right? So
No, I love that, man. And I feel like as an artist, like all we can ask as a fan and as a consumer and listener of the music is, you know, just for artists to be vulnerable. And I feel like obviously you've done the work to sort of get to that place, like you were saying, you know, you started off as, or some artists start off as, you know, you obviously have your inspirations, but then it takes time to
yeah,
like really be so comfortable in yourself. And bro, I feel like to be an artist in today's day and age and like truly do it the right way, like it's almost like you know, I guess a lot of us get caught in like the whole productivity wheel and cycle and everything. And I love that you touched on that earlier. I think there was a lyric too where you're talking about, you know, just like lying about your productivity to your manager.
yeah,
And that like really resonated to me with me because I was just thinking, because I've had conversation with artists before where you know, you obviously it's you're being productive when you're in the studio recording, right? Or you're right.
yeah,
Also, you know, as an artist and doing the work for yourself, you're being productive when you're watching a movie, when you're getting inspiration, when you're
literally.
fucking just doing nothing and having time to think. Like that is just equally as important. So,
Hmm.
you know,
Recharging your battery for sure.
yeah, man, like, dude, because you gotta like write about shit you live. Like you gotta live life too. And like
Yeah.
I feel like being an artist is a full-time job in that respect. Like you can never really turn it on. Like even when you say, "Oh, I'm stepping away from music. I'm not going to record for a month." Bro,
Hmm.
you're still working. Like
Yeah.
you know, you're a magnet. You're bringing all these new experiences, energies, frequencies in and like you now you're going to like fine tune it and push it back to the world. So
100%.
that's the way I like to think of artistry and yeah, I guess, you know, you and I are on the same page when it comes to that.
Yeah, no, for sure. You're hitting all the points. Like that's really all it is. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that line was hilarious, bro. I was like, it was funny. I just did it. Like I just said it, and then after the fact, I was like, damn, I exposed myself. But luckily,
Yeah, yeah.
my manager is so dope. He's so cool. Like I
Love it.
literally could. I'm like I have a manager that actually encourages this stuff. Like
Got you.
I feel like it's again like that's a hard thing in this day and age. Like finding people that actually encourage you to take like the hard route, like do the
Yep.
hard thing, become the best artist you can be.
Yep.
Like I'm not just trying to sign you to a 30% deal and like let's
Sure.
get you sign a deal and let me get my 30%. Like that's not like that. It's hard to find that now. But I'm very lucky to just to have that, like you know, a team that actually is just like, yo, like you work on you, like you get better.
Yeah, it
But
gives
yeah,
you
man, you feel this
space.
pressure. You feel this pressure to be productive. Yo, what do you want? It's like, oh, I'm definitely on something, I swear. And it's like, you know, maybe not. Like, or maybe like you just doesn't feel like it. You don't know how to express it. But
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I mean, especially now in today's day and age too, like, the whole TikTokification of the industry, like it just adds
mhm,
another hat where like in order to be an artist, like you damn near have to be a content creator too to some respect, or a videographer, or have like all these other visions. And it's just juggling these multiple hats where you gotta write, make the music, think about what you
mhm,
want to write, live, experience,
mhm,
do the whole content side. Like, dude, it's a lot. So I
mhm,
just respect and appreciate the whole creative process and love hearing, unique point of views on that. And obviously you
mhm,
you feel like, I mean, like you're saying, you don't have the answers, you don't have it figured out, but you're very comfortable in your artistry right now. And I think that definitely is conveyed in the music. And I think why people sort of resonate with your music so much and why you can have these cohesive ideas wrapped into one project and like you're saying, transport people. It's dope, man. It's super
for
dope.
sure. Thank you, brother. I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Dude, I did want to touch. I mean, I'm sure you've been asked about this a lot, but
Yeah,
the song Hex, like I don't like, obviously it's a massive song and I'm sure it's
yeah.
changed your life. And I'm just curious what that song has taught you, because I'm sure you've sort of reached very high highs with that song. But
Hmm.
then again, it's probably set the bar to where, you can't help but mentally like think of, okay, what is my baseline level of success now in terms of like
Yeah,
numbers or this or that? Like,
yeah, of
you know,
course.
from my personal experience, like on TikTok, dude, I would get like videos that would get like millions of views. I'd be like, fuck
Mhm.
yeah, like this is awesome. And then months later, like the videos are getting like, 10, 20,000 views. And it's just like
Mhm.
the
Yeah, it's a
polarity,
big.
the duality, like it's the ups and downs. It's an emotional roller coaster. And I'm sure
Mhm.
even more so when it's attached to like something so near and dear and energetic like music, to where these are like, you're putting these out to the world. It's
Mhm.
hard to attach numbers to it. So
For
I'm just
sure.
curious, like big picture, like what that song in that moment has taught you. And like I'm sure you've done some self-reflection on it. And yeah, I'm just very curious.
No, no, that's a great question. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
I was just again like you know growth isn't linear. I was just struggling with this like the other day. Um, but the reality is like the only time it causes me any strife and causes me like any like overthinking or like questioning or like any negative feelings, it's always when I'm thinking about what other people think.
Okay.
It never ever
Yeah.
comes from when I ask myself who I am and what I really think. Like
Gotcha.
it always comes from I see someone else doing something and then I'm like, damn, like I should be on that. And then, or like,
Mm,
you know, I see an opinion, I see a comment, somebody's opinion. Then I start thinking about their opinion. And then I'm like, oh, damn. Like, but it's like anytime I'd like go inside, because you know what it is, like when you're creative, like I feel like the
yeah.
dopest thing about being a creative, being an artist is we're the ones that are supposed to be close to our inner child.
Yeah.
Like we're supposed to look at the world and with this childlike wonder. That's what makes us important. At least that's what I like to think. Like
Yeah, yeah,
that's our job to remind, even when we get older, to remind everybody that we're still just kids at the end of the day. And you could still have this childlike wonder.
for sure.
But in order to do that, like we have to have a good relationship with our inner child. And like what I
Mm,
find that I'm doing when I'm like stressing about it or letting it define me in a negative way,
yeah.
I'm I'm almost like putting the same fucking pressure like on my inner child as like my parents or like someone else
Mm,
like put on me. Like it's like bro, like you become like it's like you know you die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the
yeah,
villain. It's like
yeah,
I'm doing the same thing to my inner child because at the end of the day, bro, there's a 17-year-old inside of me.
for sure.
Pause, but there
That's
is.
crazy. But yeah, yeah, no, I know, I know, I know
Pause,
what
but
you're
like,
talking about.
but you
Yeah,
feel like there's a
yeah,
fucking kid in there,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
and it's like you gotta like have a good relationship with that kid.
for
And
sure.
like when I get insecure and I start caring about what other people think,
Mm,
I'm looking away from that inner child and I'm looking at somebody else. And then that inner child is like that's the person that wanted to just be seen the whole fucking time in the first place.
got you.
but
Yeah.
that's hard. But and again, that gets increasingly difficult, like because again, like we live in an interconnected social media world. Like I
Yep.
scroll on TikTok, like I go on Reels, like I go on the internet, like I do this to
Sure.
myself, and like I don't know if just like stopping cold turkey is truly the answer.
Mm,
Maybe the job is a little more difficult. Maybe it's a little more difficult than just cutting things out and pretending something isn't a factor. But like
yeah.
it gets harder because obviously like there are things that like you want to do, you want to have, you want to blah blah blah, you want, but it's like,
Yep.
bro, like I when I just ask myself, it's like, yeah, I hear that, like I hear all that stuff, but like who are you?
Mm,
Like, like I know you look at that other shit and like you think about these things and you think about other people's opinions. You got the label distributor and this and do
yep.
this, and it's like, okay, but like who are you? Like I care about you,
For
you
sure.
know? And that's difficult to do, and I'm glad that I got people around me that like help remind me of that. But like
Yeah.
that's honestly just like that's honestly the only thing that's gonna get hard though, because you get older and you want more things, and the things you want, you feel like you have more justification for the things that you want, like
Yep.
and then it that gets difficult, like just telling yourself that you as who you are is enough, that
Hmm.
gets harder. But I have to be the one, because like that other guy's not doing that.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
that's my fight. I feel like I'm not gonna fight. I'm not gonna dick ride the algorithm
Mm,
and try to fucking be big off of just what is big. Like
yeah.
that's easy. That shit will not fulfill me. Like
Yeah.
I know that for a fact. Like I could do it. Like I could make music. Like I live and breathe this shit. You think you're special because like you can do like I can do that shit
For
very
sure.
easily. But that shit's just gonna leave me very depressed and very like, and then in order to do that, I have to ignore that inner child, that inner voice that wants to say something, wants to say how he feels.
Yep.
And the crazy thing is, like, that's what got me to that song in the fucking first place.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. You're turning your back on it, obviously.
on
Yeah.
the very thing that is even the reason why we're having this conversation. And it's
Yeah.
like, I wish more people outside of music knew that. I
Mm,
wish more managers knew that. I wish more distributors knew that. I wish more label heads knew that. I
yeah.
wish more A&Rs knew that.
Yeah.
I wish that was more of a mantra. I wish more artists knew that more than anything. Um, I really do. It makes
Yeah.
me sad thinking about that, because it's like I know how you feel, bro. Like I see through it. I see through you. Like I
Hmm.
really do. You can fool everybody else, but you can't fool me.
Yeah.
And
You're so like in it that you
yeah,
understand
it's like, bro, I
on
know
such a
what's
deep
going
level.
on. I know what you're doing. Like,
Yeah.
and the crazy thing is, if I see that, I know deep down you do. Like, I
Oh
know the
yeah,
little
for
kid
sure.
inside you knows that too.
For
That's
sure.
hard, and that's your fight. That's what you're gonna have to do, and like that's it, But
Yeah.
yeah,
No.
we just gotta remind myself who I am, like who I am, and just really appreciate who I am. Because if I don't, who is?
Hmm.
If I don't see that little kid inside of me, who the fuck's gonna see that little kid? And then how do I have the right to go around the world and be angry at everybody for not seeing me when I don't even see myself?
Yeah. Damn. No, that's real, man. I mean, I can tell that, and I appreciate like you sort of done that work and that introspection to like really understand where you want to be and like, what kind of, I guess people throw around the word like legacy and but it's more than just like legacy because that's more of an external thing, right? Where that's other people's
Yeah,
perception, whereas it's more so right? Like it's fulfillment for you at like the highest level of just trying to be like your truest self. And I think that's the beauty of being an artist and putting out music is you can do all this work and then you have the receipts. It's in the form of the music and the songs
exactly.
and the projects that are
Yeah,
just such cohesive, beautiful pieces of work and energy that you putting out there. So um
yeah.
dude, yeah, I mean, being on the label side too for a while, like you see it, man. Like it's a dollars and cents sort of, black and
Mhm.
white on the label side, but as an artist and creative, like it's really it's gray, man. It's just
Yeah.
like it's so interesting the music business because it is called the business at the end of the day, but
Hmm.
when the intersection of just like the whole business side of things and the creative, the art form, it definitely gets messy, and I feel like every artist just needs to find that whether it is okay, fuck it, like you're the artist that just wants to make the hits and whatever, like,
Hmm.
it's, best of luck, God bless. But if you really want to make like that lasting music and find your lane and your voice and your sound, like, yeah, you
Yeah.
do have to sort of block out that outside noise. And,
Hmm.
I commend you, man, because I'm sure it's not easy. And um,
No.
you really just have to like be so comfortable and true to yourself. And it's
Yeah, it's
really easier to
hard.
lie to yourself.
Bro, you'd be surprised how much you have to like fight for it. Like I used to think that I could
Yeah.
just passively like be myself and like passively exist and
Mhm.
just like stand on what I believe in and have my beliefs and just do that and live passively. But that's not the case, especially when you get older. Like you're really gonna have to like fight for that shit. Like you have to actually like
Yeah.
fight. Like you might disagree with people, and I get scared. I think there's like that one Winston Churchill quote. It's like
Mm.
you shouldn't get along with everybody. Like there's some people that like you shouldn't get along with. Like if you're getting along
Yeah.
with everybody, like there's a problem, you know? Like, and I think that's
I
true. I
like
didn't
that.
realize that. I didn't realize that till I got older. This past year was a lot of that. Was like, hey man, like this is what I believe, this is what I feel, and if that's not cool with you, then we can't be cool. Like just boundaries. Like that's where I draw the line because I can't passively,
Mm.
exist that way, you know?
Yeah.
It's harder. I used to think that it was I could just do it. I could just live and like maybe that's the way it should be, but like that's not the way that it is. So
Got you.
yeah, it's hard. Some days are harder than others. Like it's not easy, but bro, like that shit's like that's what's gonna make me the man that I actually want to be one day, you know? Like I want to be a dad one day.
Mhm.
I want to be a good man. And like that's the
Yeah,
type that's the shit that you got to do. It's the shit that nobody else wants to do, right? Like
sure.
that's how I see it.
No, dude, I love that perspective, man. And I think, it's a lot of careers, especially just outside the box, whether it's creative, whether it's athletes, right? Like I feel like it's a lot of stepping stones, a lot of learning, and you have to ask yourself like what exactly what do you want in this career, like what's the end goal necessary. You might not even know the end goal, but like if you stay
Yeah,
true to yourself. I hear a lot about how these athletes, dude, these are like once they're like mid 30s, it's like, oh, their career's over. Like I feel like for artists too, like, there are like these points in your career where you really have to just transform and see where you need to take it. Like there's different,
yeah,
the daddy raps are probably going to come in the future, and you're just going to sort of like grow up with your audience. I feel like that's where all the special artists are, is the ones that can really grow with their audience.
for
Um,
sure.
and bro, I'm sure you're right on that path, man.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you,
Yeah.
man.
Dude, of
Yeah.
course. Bro, this is running out. I'm so sorry. Like it
No
says a
worries.
minute on the Zoom.
No worries.
Um, dude, it was a pleasure though, man. I'm glad we got to chop it up though.
Of
Like
course, bro. No, it's
I
always a
love
pleasure,
it.
man. Like you know what it is, bro. You're good. Anytime you come to the city, let me know, man. We'll take care of you.
Let's do it, man. Dude,
Yeah,
80
bro.
perp, man. I appreciate you, man. I'll be rooting for you. We'll stay tapped in.
Appreciate you,
But
brother.
dude, best of luck in the future. We'll definitely have another conversation soon.
Dope, man. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Peace,
All right.
bro.
Peace, man.